Welcome to Molecular Evolution. The purpose of this video is to take you through the way the course will work, to give you an idea about how to succeed, how to make sure that you are on task and completing all of the assignments, and also what resources you'll have available for you. Because this course is completely online, we'll be relying fairly heavily on Blackboard. Hopefully most of you are already familiar with Blackboard. But when you log on to the course Blackboard page, you'll see something like this. The announcements may be different when you log on, but along the left-hand side, you have a list of resources and pages available to you. We're going to begin with the syllabus and calendar. So when you click on this link, there's a lot of information. This is all just generated by the university. Really, the important ones are the first two. So you've got the syllabus here with a link to a Word document for the syllabus. So let's review that first. This is the first time that this course has been taught online, so I'm developing some of the online material, and I'm going to be working to get a little bit ahead of that, and we should have at least a week ahead. I recommend that as you do this, you follow the schedule. You can get a little bit ahead if you'd like as things get posted, but you don't want to cram too much in on any one day, and certainly don't fall behind. There is no assigned text for this course. However, there will be multiple readings, at least one a week, sometimes more. And we'll look at how you'll interact with that here in a little bit. My office on campus is there. I'll be there periodically, but not a lot because of the unusual circumstances. The best way for you to get in touch with me is via email, and I'll be checking emails multiple times during the weekdays and a little bit probably on the weekend also. In addition to email, you can log on to Zoom. The link is here. I'll be there each Monday, Wednesday, and Friday from 3 to 4 p.m. for office hours. Those are optional, but it's a good opportunity for you to ask questions, to review material, to show up and go over anything you'd like to. I have other classes that will also be using those office hours, but typically those are not very crowded, and so you should have ample opportunity to go over anything you'd like. If you can't use those office hours, if they don't work for you, you can also send me an email and we can make an appointment to meet individually by our office or in small groups. I'll let you go over the course objectives. It's just a general outline of what we'll be looking at throughout the semester. There are 4 components of the course, and as you look at these, we'll talk about each one and how they will work, and then we'll look at how you will be graded. And I'm missing one here, worksheets. I'll talk about worksheets, and I'll add a little bit of a written section here for you to refer to just for your reference. So first, there are going to be 3 midterm exams and then a final. The unit exams or midterm exams are scheduled for specific days. There are time limits. You'll have an hour and a half for each of those exams. However, they are administered online. There'll be multiple choice portions and written portions. And if you have specific questions about format or would like to get a little bit more information, you're welcome to log on to the Zoom sessions and we can review it and talk about it in more detail as the first exam approaches. The final example will be comprehensive, but will be all multiple choice. The questions will be similar to what you saw on previous exams, but not identical. Okay, and that will be all available all day, but again with a time limit, but available all day on Wednesday, December 9th. So in addition to exams, there will also be a weekly quiz if we don't have an exam on that week. And we'll look at the calendar here in just a little bit. The quizzes, again, are all on Blackboard, 5 questions. They'll be all multiple choice, true, false matching. The first one, which will be available on Thursday, August 27th, and you can take it anytime through Friday. So they're due on Friday, so you can do it any day, any time on Thursday when they'll be posted in the morning, or any time on Friday. Make sure you get them done by midnight. The first one you can take as many times as you would like to improve your score, but after that it'll just be a single time. You just take each quiz after the first one once. There will also be reading assignments. These are basically participation grades, but they have to be done by a certain time. So every day when you have a reading assignment, there will also be a reading questions. These are open-ended. They don't need to be long. They can be very short. As long as you have read the paper and you put something reasonable, you will get full credit. So again, basically participation grades are listed in the calendar. They will also be listed in the daily links section, which we'll talk about here in just a little bit. Again, if you do it, you get full credit. For both the quizzes and the worksheets, you have one freebie. If you miss a quiz or you just do poorly on one of the quizzes, or if you miss one of the reading assignments and get a 0 on it, I will drop that from your grade. However, if you miss more than one quiz or miss more than one reading assignment, then that will begin to impact your grade. So I automatically drop the lowest score. In addition, there will be, I believe, 5 worksheets. We'll look at the calendar here in just a bit, spread throughout the semester. Those will appear in the worksheets folder over here, and we'll talk about those as we approach the first one, which is due at the end of the second week. About every other week, you'll have one due. That will require you to interact with some software. It's free software. You don't need to purchase it to download it. Some of them will be web-based applications, but others will be based in a software package called Mega that you will need to download. But it's freeware. You can do it. If you get stuck on it, you may ask for help and log on to Zoom hours or make an appointment with me. And that's a good point. If you're working and doing things with a day or two or maybe even more lead time, then if you run into any problems or difficulties, we can work through them. You can get help from me. If you're putting it off until the very last day or the last couple hours trying to finish it right before the deadline, then you might have more of an issue. So it's a good idea to plan ahead and try and complete things in a timely manner. This basically says don't cheat. All of the quizzes, even though they are online, and all of the exams, worksheets are required to be your own work. Now, that doesn't mean you can't get help. Talk to other students about worksheets, but the quizzes and the exams need to be your own work. But you can use whatever notes you have. You can use online lectures. Again, they are administered online, so you have multiple resources there. But again, this just says what we've kind of already talked about. It's critical to keep up, to make sure you're doing it. I've based this on a Tuesday, Thursday classroom schedule with deadlines on Tuesdays and Thursdays. Make sure that you follow that. At the end of the semester, this is how I will calculate your grade. 60% of your grade will come from exams. Quizzes will be a total of 10%, again, with the lowest quiz dropped from that percentage. The reading questions, 10% also with the lowest one dropped. Worksheets, I don't drop one, so you need to make sure you keep up with the calendar and do all those. Those will be 20% of your overall grade. Using this weighting scale, I will then calculate your grade. If you have 100 to 90, you have to get at least a 90% for an A. An 89.9% is not an A. Okay, so you need to get at least a 90%. No matter where I draw the lines between grades, I'm always going to have a few students that are just short of the next grade up. So the only way for me to be fair is to be very clear about the expectations and the requirements, and then just treat everyone the same. I don't do extra credit. Your grade is a measure of how well you perform and learn the material, keep up with the material over the entire span of the semester. Okay, if you come to the end and ask what you can do to raise your grade, that's revisionist history. At that point, you can't do anything. I'll try and be very kind about it. I know it can be frustrating. In the long run, over your academic career, it all evens out. Sometimes you barely make the next grade up. You squeak by with a B or an A. Other times you just miss it. But again, it will even out over the span of your career. You may not need this link right now. If you don't, hopefully it will continue that way, but you never know. Emergencies and events come up. So it's here. If you do have something that intervenes and is going to be an issue for you, please make an immediate, as soon as possible, effort to reach out to both me and to the Student Accessibility Office. There are many different accommodations and things that we can do to help to make sure that everyone has access to the course. Okay, so let's take a look at the calendar now. And again, if you don't want to print this up, it will always be here. You can refer to it at any time. Okay. So all of the due dates are listed here on the right-hand column for both quizzes and worksheets. The reading assignments will be due by midnight on the day they are assigned. I will put the first one up sometime today. All you have to do is read and answer some very simple questions. They're open-ended, but again, as long as you put something reasonable, meaningful in there, it's not, something completely unrelated, you will get full credit for them. But they must be done on the day they are listed. So this first one will be due on Thursday, August 27th. Now, this gives you a big picture overview so you can plan ahead and make sure that you're not missing anything. In addition to this big picture calendar, I also have this link here, these folders on the left called Daily Links. It's broken down by units, so when you click on it, you'll see a folder for each of the 3 main units. When you click on the folder, You will then see each day having its own separate folder. Oh, and by the way, we'll go back here. I also post reminders here. They're on the calendar and here if you log in about when the first exam is. So the first exam is Thursday, September 24th. And once that day comes, it will be available here in the exams folder. Okay. But for these, you have a folder for each day. So for today, for instance, we've got the course orientation video, which I'm working on right now. We'll update this link once it's finished. And then you have this other one. Those are the only two things that you need to complete by this day. So the one for Thursday will have videos that you need to watch. It will have a link for the reading quiz that you need to take, the reading questions that you need to take, and then also there will be a link for that week's quiz there, the quizzes, or a reminder to go to the quizzes folder and take that quiz. Okay, so you can stay up and make sure you don't miss anything by using the calendar, using the daily links folder, or some combination of those two. But this way you won't miss anything. The PowerPoints that I use in the videos will be listed here. You're welcome to download them, print them up if you want to take notes on them. This is, I think, maybe more important and relevant when it's an in-person class, but some people still like to do that. So I use the PowerPoints for the lectures and the videos that I'll be making. I will break these probably down into subcategories just because it's a little bit more manageable for students rather than having an hour to an hour and a half lecture. I'll have 20, 30-minute lectures and break it down into little bits and pieces. And they'll be there the entire semester. You can use them. The videos will appear. Links to them will appear in the daily links, but you can refer to these also if you need them. I also provide what I call SLOs, Student Learning Outcomes. These are just simply outlines of all of the major points. So let's look at the first one of the lecture. So in bold are words that you need to know the definition of and how they relate to the topics, and then you'll have questions. If you use these to take notes on or you go back over your notes with these, make sure you can answer these questions, then you will be in really good shape. Use them as kind of, again, guidelines for making sure you got all the material from the lectures. You can also use them as you're preparing for the exams. This is 90 to 95% of all of the material that will be on exams will be found here. Everything from readings to worksheets to the lectures that are going to be posted as videos, those are all fair game for quizzes and exams. And this is just a really great way, an outline to help you make sure you're keeping up with everything. Okay, the reading assignments are here. They're all posted right now. I've got to actually augment it a little bit, so I'll be updating it in the coming week. But then it will be all up to date. And the first one for Thursday is there. These are all PDFs of literature, usually not primary like research papers, although some of them later on are. Most of them are reviews, overviews of major concepts. Okay. Quizzes folder is empty, but we'll put one in there for the first quiz, and then all the other quizzes will be there. You won't be able to see your answers immediately after you finish the quiz, but once the deadline has passed and everyone has taken the quiz, then you'll be able to find answers to the quiz by going to the My Grades link, clicking on the link for that individual quiz, and it will show you each question, the answer you put, and what the correct answer was. So you'll be able to review those once the deadline is passed. Same thing for exams. Exams folder is empty, but will begin to be populated as we get to the first exam. And I won't put keys up, but you'll be able to review your individual questions. Now, the way the exams are going to work is that there will be a pool of related questions. Not everyone will get the exact same exam, but you will be pulling questions from a pool of questions that are all very similar and very related. And then you can go back over and review your own exam and what you put and what the correct answers were. This last one you don't need to worry about for now. It's a piece of software. I use it in some of my classes, and we'll refer to it a couple times in the semester, but that's just a link to that web page. You can play around with it, but we'll refer to that later. All right, so that is all of the material that you need for the course. If you have any questions, please email me, set up an appointment, or log on during one of our regularly scheduled Zoom sessions. I like to try and be very accessible to students. It's a little harder when we're in this remote online format, but I still am willing to engage. I think if you, sometimes even just talking about something, even if you think you understand it, can be of great value. So please make use of that. Rely on those sessions and emails, and you should be able to have all of the resources that you need. This is a fairly advanced class. If you have had evolution in the past, you will notice some items that are review. However, as we move forward, we're going to go into a lot more depth and detail about many items, and some of the things are going to be a little bit challenging for all students. If you have not had an evolution class, you might struggle with some of the fundamental concepts. This is an upper division course, and you should have had evolution before you've come in. If not, please make use of those other resources and come and see me if you're struggling, so that you don't fall behind. All right, good luck, and I look forward to the rest of the semester.